So I accidentally fell asleep with YouTube playing on my TV, and it's like the middle of the night. And when I woke up for my dream, this was on my TV. Who are you? Why is that on my TV?
Every night, I just go on Saturday. And all y'all say, hey. All y'all say, woman. Hey. Hey.
Yo, what up, my good people, and welcome back for a brand new episode. In today's episode, we're gonna kick back and dive into some strange TikToks that just might make you rethink reality. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right back into it.
Well, I have a story about UFO. I guess this came out pretty recent. The Malaysian airline that disappeared. Remember that? Wow, it was like 4 years ago or something. They were never able to find it.
Okay.
Supposedly, two satellites, a Chinese satellite and a US satellite, caught video of the plane. Came out recently of like, we have the footage of it before it disappeared.
Now,
and there was these blob things flying like sporadically around the plane, like encircling it. It's like three like orbs. So just like,
yeah, I've seen
and
that.
then it disappeared.
flying into another dimension, probably.
Don't know. But then the Malaysian authorities said when it disappeared, the last thing they got on the radar was an unidentified blob around the plane. So it was backed up by the Malaysian authorities. There was an unidentified blob around this plane.
Yeah.
But then it also came out that that plane was carrying secret cargo. All it says is that it weighed as much as a hippo.
Was it a hippo?
Like, just say like it probably weighed.
Just say 2 tons or something.
Yeah.
Like, don't say, I don't know, probably the weight of a hippo.
It's probably just like the translation from Malaysian to.
It's wild they think it's only been 4 years. Like, that was almost a whole decade ago. Where they been at?
I can't watch modern day movies. I can't do it because they're not about entertainment anymore. It's straight psyops. I did some time in the psychological operations unit. I understand what goes into these things. Movies nowadays are not entertainment. It is pure propaganda, and it is pushing very clear agendas which are predominantly anti-masculine, anti-family, anti-traditional values, anti-faith, pro-deviancy, pro-sexual agendas being pushed on kids. Movies nowadays are straight propaganda. They're not in my house for that reason. It's so blatant.
Yeah, I agree with you, my dude. Especially with Netflix. Oh, man.
We mastered gravity control October 1954. So we have not needed jet engines, rockets, oil, gas, public utilities, surface roads, think about this, steamships, internal combustion engines of any sort for at least 60 years. How do I know this? The third highest ranking official at the Naval Research Labs has been a friend for years, and he was in the vault and saw the documentation for this, unredacted because it's all the original documents. But you're stepping on a stockpile of money and commodities and mineral wealth being traded, oil, coal, other uranium, that's worth in the aggregate several $100 trillion. The US federal budget is $3 or $4 trillion. And if you take out entitlements and things that are mandatory, it's a fraction of that. Petrodollar interest, the big commodity trading firms like Goldman Sachs, the big money folks, that's where the action is.
He says, fellow service members, veterans, and all Americans, time to wake up. We are being led by weak and feckless leadership who only serve to enrich themselves. He goes on to explain a variety of other grievances and issues, some political, some personal, a variety of other things which we will do our best to release very quickly here.
This is a Cadillac, and it flies. All right, take a look. Cadillac badge on top of the propellers. You have more propellers up here. Look at the shape of this vehicle. I mean, this is the future. When you open it up, look at all that space. This is called the Cadillac personal space because it's for one person. Look at the size of that chair. You have the light bar going across the back and then the tail light, but everything has Cadillac design language. Even the tail light has that badge pattern going down the bottom. So this is a concept vehicle by General Motors. This one is the personal space.
Can you imagine how much this flying Cadillac must cost? Cadillac cars are already super expensive.
They literally put it in bread. It's yoga mat material. And it's legal, and once again, illegal in Europe. RFK specifically talked about azo-dicarbonamide.
What would they put that in, like a...
Subway bread, like Google Subway.
Bread. Yes, Subway bread previously contained azodicarbonide, a chemical that is also used in plastics and shoes. When did they stop? 2014, it looks like.
Yeah, when the food babe, she actually brought this to everybody's attention because it was in Wendy's, It was in McDonald's. And I think most of the companies didn't remove it, but she specifically was picking on Subway. She had a massive campaign. She got it out of Subway, but a lot of other companies and a lot of breads in the supermarkets and stuff, they still have the yoga mat material in them.
Man, we live in a country ran by people who couldn't care less about our health. That's why you got to look out for yourself. And whatever you do not put your trust in the FDA.
We have heard that 2 people are dead, 18 injured after a small plane crashed into a Southern California building. More details coming in real time, but for now, let's check in with Fox 11 reporter in Los Angeles, Christy Fajardo. She's on the scene. Christy, what are we learning about the situation?
Well, sadly, Fullerton Police has just revised the death toll. As you said, they now say 2 people died in that plane crash. Earlier, they had said it was 1. 18 people were also injured. And I want to show you the fire department response. We're about 20 miles from the city of Los Angeles. We're in Orange County in Fullerton, and they've brought in fire personnel from all over the region. There was real concern that this could grow. It happened at about 2:30 this afternoon. A lot of these buildings you see here were full of people. This is an industrial area.
We're all supposed to believe what we're told. And I'm starting to unravel things from the decades, how much nonsense we were told. And with social media, we've been able to break down those barriers. And I hope that in our lifetime, the veil will keep lifting and we'll see what's really going on in this world, because some crazy stuff.
I don't think y'all realize how psychological food actually is. You have a choice before you eat the food. And usually, 9 times out of 10, you know the bull crap you put in your mouth is bull crap and nutrient deficient as hell anyway. We're enslaved to our senses. We're enslaved to our bellies. Our nervous system has become our God. And we're not serving our almighty creator because we are so enslaved to our lower animalistic primal nature. Straight up.
All diseases start from the gut. If you want to live a long life, it's simple. Just take care of your gut.
Trying not to do drugs and letting them know that it's all business, because they'll try every time. Like, try it out, man. And I used to carry around this straw, and I put Vaseline in it. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. So I had this little metal straw, and then I took Vaseline. And you take Vaseline and a Q-tip and put Vaseline inside of it. So then if you act like you're doing it, it gets stuck to the Vaseline.
Oh, wow.
So they'd be like, come on, man, try it, man. I always try to be like, look, I'm in a hurry. I got business to do. You know what I mean? I got people waiting. But if I had to do it, which I did have to do it a couple times, that's how I did it. I pull out my own straw, like my own little kit, act like I have my own little kit, you know. I pull out my straw and I just, like that. And and then once you go, and then after that, go to the bathroom and then blow out any residual that doesn't get caught up in the Vaseline.
I got one question. If the hole was covered up, how did the straw have enough pressure to pull it up? Am I the only one that feels like he's lying to us?
The abductees always describe the interior of the craft in the same way. There are no right angles inside of one of these craft. Everything is rounded. In fact, even the minor details are described the same. I'll ask them, they'll say, the gray took me into the craft. And I'd say, what? Did you sit on anything? I mean, was there like a seat or something like that? And I know that there are. And they'll say, yeah, I sat on like this little bench. And I say, well, can you describe it for me? And they always describe it in the same way. It wasn't like a chair. It was like a bench that was molded into the side of the craft. That one little detail is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. So you went into a room. Well, what was the door like? And you're going to get the same kind of response from all abductees. Well, it was kind of weird because it was door, but it was all round. There are no right angles. And these are little details that you find, as I said, ubiquitous among the descriptions of an abduction event by abductees all over the world from all walks of life.
When you realize this guy shooting rockets into space, making e-vehicles, starting a new fucking department of the government is also the top. It's so crazy. It's the one time I actually let myself think maybe he actually is an alien, because there's just no way, unless he's paying people to do it for him, which obviously he's not. That is insane, man.
Yeah. I don't play Diablo 4, so I really don't know what that means, but I believe it's huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
It's crazy. It's crazy because, Diablo 4, it's all about your build. It's all about, like, eye-hand coordination is obviously a big part of it, but then it's just... And then you see the chopsticks catch the fucking rocket. And it's like,
that's a side job. He's had more space innovation in the last 5 years than NASA has since the Apollo missions.
It's amazing.
I mean, I'm just saying that. I don't know if it's a true number. But he gets rockets to land, and rockets get caught with robot arms. Like, what?
And that, to me, it's like, my God. You get those feelings like, okay, I'm on the right timeline. Because if the guy who's going to make us a galactic civilization is also a master Diablo player,
the number one,
we're in the right timeline.
Because I'm an alien.
That's what I've speculated.
Yes.
I'm on record saying this in the past. I wonder.
It's true.
I mean, if there was one, I was like, if there was like maybe an intelligent being that we created, like some AI creature that's superior to people, maybe they'd just hang around with us for a little while like you've been doing and then fix a bunch of shit. Maybe that's the way.
I might have some mutation or something like that.
You might. Do you think you do?
Probably.
Do you wonder? Like, you're around normal people, you're like, Like, what's up with these boring, dumb motherfuckers? Ever?
Not bad for a human. But I think we'll not be able to hold a candle to AI.
Man, people out there are accusing Elon Musk of being an alien, a time traveler, and the Antichrist. Good grief, what else is next?
To a developing story, tonight the Biden administration is blaming China for a major security breach targeting the U.S. Treasury Department. Hackers gaining access to employee workstations and unclassified documents. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Tonight, the Treasury Department notifying Congress it was targeted by Chinese state-sponsored hackers in a major security breach. The department says it learned earlier this month hackers were able to infiltrate a third-party software provider, remotely log into Treasury employees' workstations, and gain access to unclassified documents. The Biden administration warning just days ago about China's threat to the telecom sector.
The reality is that China is targeting critical infrastructure in the United States.
Just last month, a China-backed group called Salt Typhoon hacked into 9 telecommunications companies, gaining access to the cell phones of high-profile Americans, including top Biden administration officials.
Mary, it's unclear if the two hacks are related. Tonight, the Treasury says it's working with the FBI to determine the extent of the breach on its systems. Mary.
Troubling development.
Not sure if I believe this story. Maybe when some evidence is provided, I might change my mind, but yeah.
Did you guys know that yesterday, France, the UK, Germany, and the United States all had attacks on them, and every single attack was somebody in a vehicle driving that vehicle into large groups of people and then getting out of their vehicle and, trying to also eliminate as many people as they can until they were shot, until they were taken down. So all of yesterday, I don't know if you guys heard that. And everything was exactly the same. Vehicles ran into large groups of people in order to try to take out as many people as humanly possible. Have you guys heard of sleeper cells before? I do know that the New Orleans incident in the United States and the Las Vegas incident, both of those gentlemen were in the same U.S. military brigade together. So we trained them. Sorry, my baby blowing raspberries. It's a sad time, guys. I was thinking, just make sure you guys are being the best people you can be. You know what I mean? Just be good people, right? This is crazy.
What do you guys think? Do we have a sleeper cell situation on our hands?
This is a forced spiritual awakening of the fifth kind. This is extraordinary. What is happening to you? Yes, it starts out very painfully. You don't get to decide. You were chosen. I don't know who, God, angels, your higher self, Jesus, I don't fucking know. But for whatever reason, you were picked, guys. That's really how this works. You don't get to decide whether you're gonna do this or not. It just happens to you.
If you hum, you can increase that to 15-fold. So humming, you're going to annoy everyone if you do this, increases that nitric oxide 15-fold. And there was one study that showed this guy completely got rid of his rhinitis just by humming for about 10 minutes, 4 times a day. So these are simple tricks you can do. They are free, available for everyone. The humming also helps to calm the body down because we have the vagal nerve, right? The vagus nerve, vagal tone is right along here. So when you hum, you're sending signals to the vagus nerve and you're calming your body down. Humming is stimulating more nitric oxide and allowing it to break free from all of those tissues.
What's your take on alcohol? Alcohol is no longer what it used to be. You look at Fireball. Do you know Fireball? It's like a cinnamon drink that they have in the US. And the ingredients in the US are different than the ingredients in Europe. So people are like, this is a cinnamon spicy drink. And then you look at what they use in the United States to make Fireball shots. It has formaldehyde, which is the coolant that they use for air conditioning. So it's like, oh yeah, no wonder it burns because it's chemical compositions.
One thing I'll never regret is laying off the booze. I don't mind a beer or two every now and then, but that's about it.
China has said when they land their craft on the lunar surface, they will broadcast to the world what they see. So here's the thing. We sent craft looking for microbes and bacterial forms of life. When those craft landed next to archaeological remnants that are over 50,000 years old.
On the moon.
On the moon, on the lunar surface. And when China sends those images back, my sense, and I don't have an inside track any longer, my sense is that we're going to see structures that are there. And I've seen the photographs of the structures. They all the way back to the Clementine missions that were, through freedom of information, had to be released in 19...
What happened to them research monkeys that got loose like a month ago? Down south. It was like 20 of them. That shit just faded to black.
So you were pretty much the first person Trump chose after he got elected. I think it was the end of that week, right?
Yeah, I believe I was.
Can you summarize in one sentence what you plan to do with the job?
Well, look, we had a discussion that night, and he gave me 3 rails, 3 things he wants me to do. Number 1 is secure the border.
Yeah.
Shut the border down. Number 2, run the biggest deportation operation this country's ever seen. And third, he wants me to lead an effort to find the over 300,000 missing children that were trafficked into this country.
About time we have a politician who wants to do something about the missing children. I really feel like this should have been started decades ago, but better late than never.
The chakra,
yeah,
the 7 chakra that go up the spinal column.
Oh,
and there's 7 like psychic centers, with the 3rd eye being the 6th, and the 7th being the crown chakra. From a Templar perspective, this is really what Revelations is talking about. The 7 seals that need to be opened. And with the opening of each seal, our old perception of the world dies off and our new perception opens up.
Interesting.
If you take the first 6 chakra, each chakra has a certain number of petals on it. And the first 6 chakra have a total of 144 petals. The crown chakra is the 1,000-petaled chakra, and it's the powerhouse for the other 6. So if you times the crown chakra to the other 144, you get 144,000, which is, in Revelations, it says 144,000 are saved after the 7 seals are opened. This is what it's really alluding to.
I gotta know if anybody else feels this way. Almost as if we are literally approaching something much bigger than we'll probably ever imagine. And right now it's almost like a calm before the storm. Things are good. You see people out shopping, doing their thing, having a good time, and you're sitting here wondering, does anybody else feel the way that I'm feeling right now? And the feeling is honestly just this like, I don't know what's going to change, but I know something is definitely, without question, going to change. And how I've been living, what I've been doing, how I've been operating my life has got me here, but it's not going to get me there when that time comes. And there's been signs within my body, within my motivation, within my mind of it speaking to me. Like, hey, you thinking that money and business and your purpose and all these things that you've been working so hard towards, yeah, they're important right now, but they may not be as important in the future. Like you doing all this, and I'm getting the signs to slow down on so many different areas, because it's almost like this divine intelligence is speaking of like, it's okay to rest a little bit more. It's okay not to be so driven or so type A. It's okay to be more internal right now. It's okay not to go out, have all these ambitions and all these different things, because whatever I am, that this intelligence, I am preparing you. And I don't really know what else to do other than surrender and trust it. And like when I need to rest and I don't want to do the thing that I think I should be doing, maybe listen to it more. Because it's speaking to me loudly now. The body's speaking to, the environment's speaking to me, the energy, the vibes, they're all speaking to me that things are changing and that I naturally need to change as well. And if I fight the resistance, I'm going to feel it. And I have been feeling it. Every time I try to fight it, every time I try to go back on and do these old patterns, be these old ways of how I used to be, it's not allowing me to stay that way. It's been interesting. So I've made a few videos about this, but it just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So I want to just keep putting this out to see like what are you feeling? How is your life being different right now? Do you feel the shift that's happening but that we haven't been able to see yet? Like what is it exactly that you are feeling that may be similar to this? I'm super curious. So let me know.
I feel your pain, brother. Ever since the coronavirus, everything just feels off. Not to mention the world is getting crazier by the day.
The average American's on 4 or more prescription drugs, which is just mind-boggling in itself. 4 or more prescription drugs is what the average American's on.
Average American?
Yes.
So like, I'm 55. Would that apply to my age group?
Yeah, this is all age groups. The age demographic, I think 18 to 70-something years old, we're on 4 or more drugs on average, which is mind-boggling. If that doesn't tell you that there's something wrong with us and our system and our food, like, we've got to wake up and realize somebody has to say the emperor wears no clothes. Like, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I'm so glad to say that I do not take or need any pills. I've seen too many people go downhill real quick when pills are involved.
Tell me how you think it went in there. You made your argument, they made theirs.
It was a hell of an uphill battle because they didn't care about the evidence. They cared about case studies and precedents. So when it comes to something as new as this, I don't know what ground we're supposed to stand on. I'm here and I'm pursuing this court case because the evidence is overwhelming. Like a prosecuting attorney in a murder case won't prosecute unless they have tremendous evidence. And this evidence that I have is far, far beyond a reasonable doubt, but that means nothing. All that matters is case studies and precedents, and trying to apply something like this to case studies and precedents is so difficult, especially when Fish and Wildlife's position is, where's their representative? He has nothing to say, no comment. And the judge wants paperwork and he wants comments. And when I go into Fish and Wildlife and I say, what's your comment? They say, none. Leave. We don't want to talk to you. And I say, look at all the evidence I have. Look what I can do. Look what I can show you. And they say nothing and they give no paperwork. Somebody says they saw a Sasquatch. They phone Fish and Wildlife. I'd like to do a report. And they say, no, you may not, because they don't exist.
Let me get this straight. They are saying aliens are real and Bigfoot isn't? Come on, if they're going to say aliens are real, they might as well say Bigfoot is too. Like, what?
The fact of the matter is the extraterrestrial presence has been saving our bacon for about 80 years, preventing nuclear war and even space objects from striking the Earth. But we have a group of people who have technologies that are targeting those ET objects who are imperiling the whole planet.
One of the world's foremost authorities on the subject of UFOs, extraterrestrial intelligence, and exotic technologies.
Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, this is something I don't talk about much, but I can tell you that these extraterrestrial civilizations, plural, there are dozens of them, None of them are hostile, but boy, are they concerned about our hostility.
Founder of the Disclosure Project, Stephen focuses on revealing classified information about UFOs and extraterrestrial life.
They have the ability to pretty much wipe out 4 to 6 billion people. And I think that's their intention. And I think that's not far off. A voice broke in from the satellite and said, Dr. Greer, change the direction of this conversation now. We're going to dump this show live. I'm going to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But that gets you banned.
Do you think there was an ancient civilization that also mastered it, arguably built the pyramids?
Well, you know,
if we knew that the devils were 100% real, then we know that heaven's real. If we could see God once, we wouldn't act to our true nature. We would say, well, God is real. I don't want to go to hell. And common sense would override what we would actually do. That's why we don't see God. If we saw him, then we would all be like, he's real, hell's real. I don't want to go to hell forever. I'm not going to kill people. I'm going to behave. That's why we can't see him. It's like seeing the answers to the test while you're taking the test. But this dimension, okay, they live parallel to us. One of my theories is just like they helped Solomon build his temple, is that either A, they had built these temples and these pyramids themselves, or B, the communities that worship these beings gave them the knowledge how to do these things, or even help them construct these things.
So you're saying...
Remember, they were sacrificing people left and right, the Aztecs, pulling hearts out. That was to these demonic beings.
So these demonic beings are what Aleister Crowley drew?
Summoned.
Well,
Aleister
both.
Crowley, ask yourself, guys, we don't have hours and hours to go over this stuff. I've spoke about this on many podcasts. I did it with Nino Rodriguez, former heavyweight boxing champion of the world. I did this on Danny Jones, and I'm doing it here with you. Ask yourself, if you don't know who this person is, you have no idea of the world we live in and the influence people like this have had.
Okay.
You know, in recent years, the topic of the Nephilim has garnered renewed interest, particularly as, you know, recently the U.S. government released a study on UFOs. Now, the UFOs are now called UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. And what was considered lunacy at one time, or something more appropriate for the tinfoil hat crowd, has become nightly news stories and on TV and social media. They've had congressional hearings on UAPs recently. Now, in addition, supernatural explanations of the UFOs, now called UAPs, were generally dismissed by the general public and are considered realistic possibilities now by many.
All right, my good people, that shall be a wrap for this one. Thank you all for watching this latest episode. Before you roll out, though, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, don't be a stranger and be sure to let me know what you think about this latest episode down there in the comments. To all you people out there that always stop by to show your boy Captain some love, just know I really appreciate it. All right, take care out there, my good people, and I'll see you all in the next episode.